Family Guy is known for being wild and wacky, but it can also be surprisingly normal. So let's take a look at some of the moments where Family Guy was down to earth and shockingly relatable. Starting things off with the episode The Marrying Kind, where Peter and Chris bond over the wonderful gift of free hotel breakfasts.
Every morning from 7 to 10, we serve a complimentary breakfast.
Complimentary breakfast? Imagine the possibilities!
If you haven't had the experience of eating Fruit Loops out of the smallest box possible and sausage links that feel like they're made of rubber, then you haven't truly lived. And the prospect of this free continental breakfast becomes so appealing to Peter and Chris that they continue to chase its magical offerings.
And you grab an orange juice that doesn't taste like orange juice, but like someone described the taste of orange juice to an alien.
And the show does a pretty good job at summarizing the whole hotel breakfast experience. It's one of those things you wouldn't be caught dead paying for, but when it's free, it's the nectar of the gods. Additionally, in this episode, Stewie works at an Enterprise car rental, and it's about as mundane as you'd expect.
I just left my car in stall 4.
Perfect, I can take it from here.
Okay, great, and I apologize, but my son threw up in the back.
Actually, something tells me dealing with that much vomit isn't exactly normal. However, Stewie's cold but polite reaction to the mundanity of the job is certainly relatable to most of us who have been in similar lines of work.
Hey, I accidentally barfed in my car. They told me I could leave it here.
Yeah, I'll clean it.
Thanks.
And Stewie also has a pretty average couples date with his friends and his mail-order bride. Look, we don't have time for context. We gotta get to the part where Stewie talks about boring nonsense from his work.
So fast forward to this morning, I get the car back, I check the tank, 3/4 full.
And Quagmire would give us the average experience of being a pilot preparing for takeoff in the episode Airport 07.
This is your captain, Glenn Quagmire. We're looking about a 4.5-hour flight time today.
It's actually a part of the job requirement to mumble as much as you can into the microphone. It doesn't matter if you're heard clearly or not. Everyone's too busy watching the Croods 2 on their seatback screens to pay attention anyway.
We've got some very strong headwinds, giggity. Flight attendants, please prepare for takeoff.
And for a little extra dose of relatability, this episode also shares in the pain of what happens when you take a bite out of a fudgesicle. Okay, maybe it isn't the most relatable, but brain freeze is no joke. To be fair, if the first thing you do with a popsicle is take a bite out of half of it, you should be put in a padded room and made to wear a straitjacket. But the last thing you want to do is take a dump while you have guests over, and Peter illustrates that anxiety when trying to plan his bowel movements before guests arrive in I Dream of Jesus.
You know what? I'm gonna go for it. Son of a... Looks like I'm gonna have to pile dinner on top of that. Hey, guys!
I totally understand the stress, but my guy, you're a 2-bathroom household. Just use the one in your bedroom. That's the secret to having guests over. Main bathroom for number 1, master bathroom for number 2. And if you only have the one bathroom, well, everyone is about to get very familiar with your body very quickly. And Stewie would perfectly capture the restlessness of being a kid and waiting for your mom to get off the phone so you can go play in The Old Man and the Big C.
All right, Bonnie. Well, it was good talking to you. No way she did. When did she say that?
There's a certain art to being a parent, one where you can reach the end of a conversation 5 different times and still not hang up the phone. And as the kid in this situation, you can literally start to feel the gray hairs forming on you as whole eternities pass while you wait.
Okay, I gotta go. Stewie and I are headed out to the beach. Oh, I didn't tell you? He's learning to swim.
Alright, time to mute this next part, ladies. This one's just for the men. At least, I don't think you want to hear about the horrors of peeing at a public trough, do you? Well, that's exactly what Peter experiences in this episode too, and it's something many men can relate to.
You go ahead, I can wait. I might wait for a stall.
Oh, come on, Peter, we're missing the game.
I want to meet the guy who thought it'd be cool to have everyone peeing in a wall-less vat that pigs eat out of. Not even for the fact of wandering eyes, but the splashback. I know you're supposed to be blasted off of $15 beers at this point, but come on.
All set?
Yep.
I know you didn't go.
I'm gonna go pee in a stairwell.
And there's perhaps never been a more annoying material than Saran wrap, and the show illustrates the frustrations we've all felt with it in Boys and Squirrels. You can never find where it starts. As soon as you tear off a sheet, it gets stuck to itself, and if you somehow actually manage to put it over your target, it suddenly doesn't want to stick to anything. I don't know who this Saran guy is, but one day he will pay for his crimes against humanity.
Perfect. Can't wait to throw that out in 2 weeks.
And although this world is completely lost to time, people who grew up with movie rental stores can understand the stress of having to choose a movie, as seen in Road to Rhode Island. It's just too hard to pick sometimes. Like, do I want a wacky adventure, or do I want 90 minutes of paint drying? Thank goodness streaming has made the decision so much easier. Oh my god.
We'll be closing in 2 minutes.
And the key to having a successful backyard barbecue is to have a fellow dad commenting on your grilling as seen in the episode Steroids.
Oh, yeah. Oh, those are looking good. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
It's not weird at all. Sometimes you just gotta be a little sensual about your buddy's meat. And if you take that voice clip out of context, I will hunt you down and whip you with a rubber hose.
Coming along nicely. Those are cooking just fine. Scoop that one up and put it back down in the exact same spot.
But this meat is looking a little too happy. You just gotta tenderize it further by bringing up some dark trauma. That's how you get them tasting just right.
Hey, whatever happened to your son, Kevin?
He died in Iraq.
Sad.
And in the episode Mixed Stroke, Peter is all of us when we learn about the apparent magic that can be made with stem cell treatments.
How long was I in there?
About 5 minutes.
Why are we not funding this?
Well, other than the lack of FDA approval, the high risk of complications, and the entire ethical debate around the process, I would say it's probably because we just can't have nice things. I'm definitely no expert on the matter, so I can't say for certain, but if it can help the fake cartoon man recover from his stroke, then surely it can help everyone, right?
I went in there, they injected me with a little bit of that fetal crap, and bam! Good old gambling man Peter.
And the heat of being on a jury can be filled with all different kinds of stress, and 12 and a Half Angry Men gave us just a taste of that, like the stress of being unable to properly adjust the blinds.
Do you guys mind if I struggle to open these blinds?
They really are one of the dumbest constructions in human history. You gotta be pulling at the exact coordinates known only by the powerful few to get the blinds to go where you want them to. They're ugly, cheaply made, terrible, and this message was brought to you by the Curtains Gang.
I can see what's happening. All right. See? Now it's open.
But this is just the usual amount of nonsense Peter does, no matter how relatable, and Quagmire actually has probably the most accurate observation about it.
I'm starting to think all you do is around.
Sorry.
And you should never have to explain your wants and likes, which is exactly what Cleveland reaffirms in the episode Take My Wife.
It's just a questionnaire.
Really?
Whatever. I like liking things.
And you should. It isn't embarrassing or cringe to be passionate about things, in theory. There are some hyperfixations that are probably better left in the darkest reaches of your mind. Liking video games? Okay. The fixation of turning into a diaper like a werewolf? Yeah, maybe keep that one in the drafts. But liking chocolate is one of those things you just can't help but vocalize, much like Brian did in the episode Screwed the Pooch.
I love chocolate, but I can't eat it because then I'll get fat.
Well, that and probably some greater health risks, I would assume. But you ever just taken a bite of something so good that it makes you audibly moan in pleasure? Well, if you have, stop it. I'd still like to be able to eat a Reese's cup without the mental image of you twixing your pants.
But it's so good.
And there's nothing like gazing out the window on a night drive that gets you thinking about the wonders of the world, like an Into Fat Air.
Cold car ride through a dark suburban night. Look out the window and think of death, kids.
Well, I usually think about a funny little character running alongside the car whenever I'm looking out the window, but I guess Death could fill that space too. Then again, running might be a little out of character for him considering what happened last time.
I caught Flo, Joe. You don't think I can catch you? Ah! Ah! My ankle! Ah!
And just because your phone has a camera on it does not make you a photographer, as illustrated by Stewie in a rant in Whistle While Your Wife Works.
Oh, that is so lame. Every hot girl who can aim a camera thinks she's a photographer.
It's like how owning a wok doesn't make you a chef and owning a Tesla doesn't make you God's gift to the human race. Some things are just things and they don't completely change who you are just because you own them. But you can tell Stewie's been thinking about this photography thing for a hot minute.
Ooh, you took a black and white picture of a lawn chair and its shadow and developed it at Save On. You must be so brooding and deep.
And I can't believe some butter isn't exactly spreadable, but that's the harsh reality for some restaurant bread baskets, as seen in the episode Hot Pocket Dial.
Dad, can you pass the bread?
Sure, but don't forget the butter that looks like decorative bathroom soaps and is impossible to smear.
Butter is one of the easiest things to work with in the world, and yet people still find a way to complicate it. It doesn't need to be sculpted, herbed, or a whole different substance entirely. Just give me my liquid fat and let me clog up my arteries, thank you.
Thanks, Dad. This really ruins it.
And while food trucks sometimes seem like a good idea, the episode Saturated Fat Guys share some of the thoughts about the downsides of eating food cooked in a vehicle.
$16? That's expensive.
Yes, sir. Everything's very expensive because you're paying for it on an iPad.
I'm all for tipping and whatnot, but I've never felt the hot spotlight on me more than when someone turns an iPad on me to leave a tip. Every amount feels like too little in their eyes, and I can't help but feel like a tip isn't needed for everything. I feel like I'm being feed just for making eye contact.
Oh, you spilled something. You want a napkin?
Yes, please.
All right, here's 40 blown by the wind.
And most movies are usually preceded by a production logo, but sometimes there are just too many, like in the episode Friends of Peter G.
Oh, I bet that's a sea monster. Oh, that's not the movie. That's... Yeah, I think I heard of them.
I feel Peter's pain, but the fact that he keeps getting tricked by them makes me wonder if he had absolutely no idea what movie he was going to see. I will say, sometimes the production company openings are way more interesting than the actual movie. Like, look at this opening for Intrepid Pictures. I want to know what that guy's story is and why he's trying to hug a lightning storm.
Oh, this guy's in trouble. Can't wait to hear his story. Oh, come on!
And sometimes we say things we don't really mean and don't know why, which Brian does to actress Lauren Conrad when he's trying to avoid Stewie in We Love You, Conrad.
It's just this jerk that goes to my school.
You go to school?
No, I just lied to you, and I'm not really sure why.
Well, if you had just committed to the lie, she probably would have bought it. After all, you are 8. Then again, telling her that she just slept with a 3rd grader probably isn't the direction you'd want to head in. And if you're not good at telling the difference between celebrities, then rest assured that you're not alone, as the episode Carter and Trisha has a whole game show centering around this phenomenon.
And now, the Game Show Network presents, are we talking about Jake Gyllenhaal or Jared Leto?
That's not an issue for a seasoned cinephile like me. Jake Gyllenhaal is known for playing eccentric, often off-putting characters, and Jared Leto is known for playing eccentric and... okay, yeah, I can kind of see where the confusion comes from.
I am a less successful version of Tobey Maguire. Anyone? No?
And there's shockingly an entire industry out there that revolves around fruit bouquets, and the episode A House Full of Peters lets you into the secret of what they are and what they're for.
Got a birthday coming up for someone you absolutely hate? Why not tell them to go screw themselves by sending a giant fruit bouquet?
I've seen dozens of these in my lifetime, and I actually have no idea what happens to most of them. There's no freaking way anyone is eating all of that fruit, so I'd have to imagine most, if not all of it, just gets thrown out. I guess if you wanted to infest your enemy's home with fruit flies, this could be a decent service, but I've already got a guy who will do that without wasting all that fruit.
Order now and make someone feel guilty about throwing it straight into the trash 6 hours later.
And if that wasn't enough gross relatability for you, here's Peter talking about his toilet bowl cleaning process.
I finally peed that chunk of poo off the side of the bowl. You know the one you've been yelling at me about?
Fantastic. Glad I found some kind of common ground with a man like that. And Christmas is about a lot of things. Presents, cheer, and making calls to your older relatives you don't talk to except on holidays, like we see in Jesus, Mary, and Joseph.
All right, kids, gather round. Time to make our yearly terrible call to Great Aunt Helen.
Yeah, it's just something you gotta do every holiday. After all, family won't be around forever. And I'm sure there are a lot of people out there who are counting down the days until that freedom finally arrives.
We were just calling to... I hope you got our card.
And moving furniture is a real pain in the butt, whether it be on Earth or in a galaxy far, far away. And as we're shown in Blue Harvest, no amount of shouting pivot is gonna make it any easier.
All right, ready? All right, 1, 2, 3. Okay, all right. Easy.
I want to know which sick monster either designed doors to be way too narrow for a couch to fit through, or made couches just wide enough where they barely fit through doors. Surely somebody had to be thinking about this stuff. You want to make an enemy for life? Ask someone to help you move.
We're gonna take the cushions off, unscrew the legs, take the mattress out, and this whole thing's gonna be a lot simpler.
And speaking of furniture, putting a leaf on your dining room table is no easy feat either, as Shanksgiving shows us what happens when furniture gets the temperatures running hot on the holidays.
Yep. One more time. Yep.
You just need something to grease the wheels a little bit. By grease, I mean alcohol, and by wheels, I mean your sanity. Actually, that might just be making things worse.
Why don't you go easy on that stuff?
This stuff is the only thing stopping you from getting so karate chopped right now.
Anyone with a slightly temperamental family member will probably be able to relate to this. Or maybe you're the temperamental family member, in which case, lay off the booze and the karate chopping.
Hey, Chris, table looks stuck.
Oh, really? Sky blue, says Star Witness.
And have you ever seen a little smudge in your vision that you can't exactly focus your eyes on? Well, Family Guy has, but if yours talks like the one in Ocean's 3.5, you may want to seek out a specialist.
I can never look at it dead on. It's always trying to get away. Hey, eye floater. Hi. Hey, where you going?
So like, what are those things? Tricks of the light? Dust caught in your eye? The ghost of that guy you hit with your car years back that you swore you'd never tell anyone about? I don't really know, but it always makes me want to spray glass cleaner in my eyes and give them a good squeegee. I can do this because I'm a cartoon, but please do not do that.
Maybe I'll look over here.
I'll go over here.
You got an answer for everything, don't you?
I think Stewie even composed a little ode to those things at one point too. Those guys really got their fans out there.
But when I try to look at you, you scurry away. Are you shy, squiggly line?
And sometimes things just don't work out like you hoped when physics actively works against you. So if you're one of the millions who have tried to throw a dead frog out the window like in Long John Peter, this one is for you.
All right, hang on.
Okay, maybe it didn't have to exactly be a frog. I think we've all had something we don't want to pick up with our hands and have to finagle with whatever's around us. It's amazing what a grocery bag wrapped around your hand can accomplish. But if you ever do have to dispose of a dead frog, be sure to do it with care, or karma might just come back around to get you.
What did I ever do to deserve this?
And Captain Crunch cereal is pretty good, but man, can it really tear up your mouth. And it can even make you sound like you're slurring, just like we see in Start Me Up.
Why are you slurring your words?
Sorry, I had Captain Crunch for breakfast. The roof of my mouth is in shreds.
I don't know what they make that cereal out of, but even when it's soaked in milk, it's like eating a tortilla chip that's standing vertically. It's making me think the old Captain might have been involved in some disturbing torture methods during his maritime days.
I find that story relatable. You're free to go.
And some people just never seem to have a positive thing to say. And if you're like Chris and Fox in the Men House, you probably feel like calling it out.
Why are you so negative all the time?
What?
And they typically have nothing to say in response to that. They just like to hate, and believe me, I get it. Hating is quite a worthwhile activity. Be a hater sometimes, but don't make it your entire personality. Also in this episode, the nonsense of Anthropologie is shown in a cutaway. And if you've ever stepped foot in one of those stores, you'll be pretty familiar with what they're getting at.
Yes, I'd like a $4,000 ping pong table that's shaped like Easter Island.
We have one right over there.
Okay, the show's being a little dramatic, but holy crap, it's real. How does this even work? Is it just for decoration, or are you actually meant to play on it? Does anyone actually buy anything from this store, or is it just a money laundering front or an artist's sick, twisted game?
There's nothing you can possibly imagine that's strange or useless enough that we don't have it here at Anthropologie.
But one thing that deserves some hate is those automatic sink faucets in a lot of public restrooms, which is illustrated correctly in Veteran Guy.
Up.
I get it's for water conservation and all that, but surely there's gotta be a better way than letting some unseen robot decide when you're in the exact nanosphere you need to be in to operate it. If anything, these things are probably convincing people to wash their hands even less.
What the hell are you doing? This is a women's bathroom.
And even as early as the very first episode, Death Has a Shadow, Family Guy was tapping into relatability by commenting on a parent's sixth sense when it comes to the thermostat.
Don't touch the thermostat, Meg, if Father gets upset.
Come on, this thing goes up to 90.
Who touched the thermostat?
It's one of those things you might not fully grasp until you've had a place of your own, but HVAC is a killer of wallets. You're cold? Throw on a few jackets. You're hot? Well, the house officially becomes a nudist colony. But there's a sixth sense that every dad seems to possess.
Hey, Peter, my thing went off. Your thermostat okay?
Yeah, it's all right.
Hey, is my kid over here?
Forget it, false alarm.
And sometimes you just can't get into a movie, but if you're gonna defend yourself, you're gonna need a much better argument when discussing the classics than Peter had in Untold Griffin Family History.
I did not care for The Godfather.
What?
Did not care for The Godfather.
How can you even say that?
This is one of the show's most iconic arguments, and I'm sure everyone's been in a position where they have to defend their negative opinion on something that's widely beloved. Just, maybe come packing better critiques than whatever nonsense Peter decides to weaponize.
It insists upon itself, Lois.
What?
It insists upon itself.
What does that even mean?
It insists upon itself is one of those get-out-of-jail-free cards that probably shouldn't work, but it just baffles everyone around you that you kinda make a point. But imagine having an opinion so disliked that it makes everyone able to understand Stewie.
Well, how can you say you don't like it if you haven't even given it a chance?
I agree with Stewie.
And if you think the things you do in the comfort of your bed might not be universal, Brothers and Sisters is here to prove you wrong, as trying to take off your socks handlessly is not the unique experience you think it is.
The first one's always hard. There we go. The second one's easier, 'cause toes.
Props to all the people who have the dexterity of an ape with their feet, because that stuff is harder than it looks. He definitely should take them off, though. Something about being in only your socks and underwear seems really weird, and I can't put my finger on exactly why.
Ah! There you go. Create an adventure with that.
And while a lot of people enjoy games, sometimes you gotta read the room, because if it's anything like the game in Bender Blockbuster, then you need to realize that nobody wants to learn all those rules.
Begin by separating the 9s, 10s, face cards, and aces from the rest of the deck.
Yeah, if your game can't be explained in less than 3 sentences, maybe it's best to hold off on that one. It's true, some of the best games ever made have some complexity to them, but if they come with a novel for a rules book, you've already lost everyone's attention.
The first side to win 2 games wins the rubber.
See, look at this painting. Even back in the 1800s, people seemed to hate this game. So if you start to see your friends and family cry or roll their eyes back into their heads, maybe just suggest playing War instead.
Family Guy is brought to you by Contract Bridge, way simpler than euchre. You see, in Contract Bridge,
Nah, I'm good, moving on. And Peter has very similar feelings about the game Clue, which he rushes through, just as we figure a lot of people do in the episode Must Love Dogs.
Okay, the murderer was don't care with a this game sucks in the I regret having children.
I assume that's probably how most detectives feel too. Then again, Peter's being awfully dismissive of the whole game, almost as if he was the murderer all along. Now that's how you play the game.
Clue. You got someone pregnant 9 years ago, so now you have to play this.
And wireless headphones were once considered a blessing on tech development because, as seen in Quagmire's Quagmire, one could easily become ensnared by a pair of wired headphones.
What do you think, Peter? Peter?
I touched the iPhone headphone.
I actually did like wired headphones, but after they made the charging port the same as the headphone port, I had to go wireless. I just know Steve Jobs is rolling around in his grave over this. Also because he's not dead and was accidentally put in a coffin anyway. And in case you ever feel dumb, just know that you're at least smarter than a fly trying to use a window as seen in Dial Meg for Murder.
Okay, now where now? No, I'm having some trouble here.
It's right there. It's right in front of you.
I'm not saying you should compare your intelligence to that of a fly if you ever need a pick-me-up, but the option is there if you need. Honestly, being a fly just sounds like being in a constant state of panic and anxiety at all times because anything could kill you. So, not unlike how I usually am now that I think about it.
Whatever it is you're driving at, I'm just apparently not getting it, so I'm just going to go back upstairs.
And we really feel for the people that have to direct traffic during construction, but when they're like the one in T. Peter, we're ready to start flooring it.
What the hell? Which one is it? Stop or go forward? This is a big deal.
Look, if you were in his shoes waving at people for 10 hours a day, you'd probably understand his plight. Don't act like you're not just zombie shuffling your way through work most of the time. Though I guess your job probably wouldn't result in as many car crashes, huh?
Yeah, no. You, sir, have lost my business.
And another thing that's no joke is slippery ice, as even the thinnest layer of it can make getting into your car a living nightmare, as seen in the 2,000-year-old virgin.
Ah, crap, I just pulled 1,000 muscles!
The wintertime really is designed to hurt you, isn't it? But you can't expect me to be walking around with tennis rackets on my feet the whole season, although it is kind of a look. Maybe I'll whip those out in summer too and stunt on them.
That was a loud crack. Yeah, that was all bone. Oh, son of a...
This episode also lets you peek into the world of someone turning 30, or as we like to call it, the prologue to a midlife crisis.
I don't care what we do for my birthday, as long as it lasts the whole week and it's very expensive and inconvenient for all my friends.
Hey, you only turn 30 once, and everyone's got to go along with whatever you want because it's all downhill from here. I'm pretty sure once you get to a certain age, birthdays become less of a celebration and more like a guy in a prison cell making tally marks on the wall.
I don't care that your dad's dying. We're all going to Montreal for the week.
And if you didn't know how bad of an experience eating at a ballpark can be, the episode Scammed Yankees gives you the rundown on what you can expect.
I'll take one terrible beer filled up way too high so I spill most of it, and a too long hot dog on a too short bun.
And if that doesn't sound appealing enough, rest assured that everything is going to cost about as much as you spent on the ticket to get in. It's an incredible system that just shows why baseball is the 5th most beloved sport in the world.
I can't wait to have diarrhea in the stall with no door while 20 guys wait for me to finish.
And for some reason, moms just seem to love this very specific kind of artwork that can be seen in a bottle episode, and Peter has seemingly had enough of it.
But first, coffee. yeah, that first.
It's the most Facebook core of art pieces. All it's missing is a minion on it and it'd be ready to hang in the middle-aged Louvre. But Peter just doesn't get art, and like most people who don't, trying to comprehend it just makes him angry.
Hey, what if our kid's having a heart attack? God forbid.
Oh, why?
Still, but first, coffee?
And there's only one way to enjoy a hot drink, and that's to clasp it with 2 hands while wearing a sweater, as seen in Peter Problems. There really is no other feeling like it. It makes you feel as though you're holding the whole of fall in your hands, warming yourself with each sip as you watch the leaves fall and the autumn breeze blow. It is peak suburban momcore, and Peter has really cracked the code on it.
And now to tie this sweater around my waist and walk around the neighborhood.
Stewie has also cracked this code, but here comes Brian trying to ruin the fun for everyone, per usual.
I don't think guys should have 2 hands on a coffee mug ever.
What?
And I don't think dogs should be sitting at the kitchen table. I'm not taking drinking advice from a guy that drinks water out of a bowl on the ground anyway.
Ooh, yummy.
Don't do that either. Just don't do anything.
But a lot of people have issues with how they look, and as seen in He's Too Sexy for His Fat, sometimes you wish you could just talk to your body to fix everything.
You're not welcome here! Go away!
If only it were that easy. They always say you and your body have to be on the same page, but I don't think they mean you can literally talk to it. But I'm gonna keep yelling at it until I get the results I'm looking for. Nothing burns more calories than screaming at yourself in the mirror. And a young growing boy like Stewie needs his sleep, but the family seems dead set on making sure that doesn't happen across numerous episodes, like when his room floods in Peter Schmidt Manor.
And I'm waking up outside again. Gotta sleep to grow, guys. Gotta sleep to grow.
Sleeping outside is a pretty fun experience, though doing it on the lawn surrounded by water probably isn't the right style. I don't even think our forefathers were roughing it that much. But he should be pretty used to not sleeping in a bed, considering it gets taken from him a lot, like in Family Guy.
Wait a minute, are these pieces of Stewie's crib?
I hate it here.
As a kid, you just gotta accept that your parents are gonna use your things for whatever that was. You just gotta suck it up and take it until you start bringing in that money. But Stewie wouldn't let his displeasure with the family slide, and in Trading Places, he lets his opinions be known.
I just heard all of that, and I just want to say this family is disintegrating.
You tell him, Stewie. I mean, they aren't listening to you, but you tell him anyway. Stewie's whole existence is just one big wrapping of never being taken seriously by your family, and sometimes even being walked all over. Just 18 more years and you can leave these miserable adults so you can go be a miserable adult on your own. And you might be surprised to learn that movie characters actually lead pretty normal lives outside the story, as seen in Lois Kills Stewie when Jafar from Aladdin gets his eyes checked.
Number 1, number 2.
About the same.
One day you're trying to overthrow an entire kingdom with magic, and the next you're seeing if you need glasses. Villains really are like the rest of us. Maybe I should try to grow out a silly little mustache and goatee combo.
Can I see 5 one more time?
5 and 6.
Yeah, they're about the same.
But that isn't the only bit of everyday life Jafar gets up to, because in Foreign Affairs, we also see him taking part in a census.
What is your primary source of income?
Sorcery?
Now that I think about it, I don't think I've ever taken part in a public census before. If the government's only interviewing Disney villains, then it's no surprise that the world's in the current state that it's in.
Are you gay, straight, or not sure?
Why are you asking me this?
Also in this episode, Stewie says what a lot of us who grew up with the 2000s Microsoft Office were thinking.
Go away, you paperclip! No one likes you!
He's remembered fondly now, but back then, Microsoft's Office assistant Clippy was the most annoying part of early computers. I never liked the idea of this guy watching me, offering to help me as if I'm some baboon that doesn't know how to use AOL. I mean, I didn't, but why did he have to be so condescending about it? And one of the things you have to accept as you get older is that you're bound to die at a moment's notice, which you can see in Absolutely Babulous when Carter takes a nap that almost kills him.
All right, let's go.
Old people really are ticking time bombs, aren't they? They're just one fall or one sleep with their heads tilted back away from leaving us. Somehow it's both adorable and also very gross, much like a baby. Time really is cyclical.
As the oldest guy here, it's my duty to take an open-mouthed nap in the middle of the room.
And another part of growing old is not having a lick of understanding how newfangled modern technology works, which is what an elderly Stewie experiences in The Most Interesting Man in the World.
What is this?
It's a Skype.
A snake?
No, a Skype.
Snipe?
And I guess just not being able to hear anything comes with that package too. The world's passing you by and it all happens within the blink of an eye. If that doesn't get you excited to become old, frail, and diaper-ridden, then nothing will.
Don't holler at me. I don't understand anything. I'm very frightened.
And we're also shown in this episode how listening to one intelligent podcast like NPR can completely change somebody. Or at least change how they dress and talk.
How was the car? Coastal and superior. I never knew whisper talking was so smart.
Well, of course. The quieter you talk, the more people have to try to understand you, which I guess makes you come off as super intelligent. But that's fake intellectualism. You get real intellectualism from watching a channel like this. Feel free to thank us in your valedictorian speeches.
I was 7 when he first came home drunk. A child should sleep on his bed, not under it.
And it's hard to believe that malls were once the cornerstone of consumerism, but as we're shown in the episode Hannah Banana, the shopping hubs have had a big fall from glory.
Your mom is going to go to the Cinnabon that has the cage pulled halfway down, and I'm going to go to the stereo store next to the dead fountain with garbage in it.
Malls used to be a haven for teenagers and guys who covered wars to get caught up in a zombie conspiracy. But now they're just husks of their former selves. With next day shipping being a common thing, it almost sounds horrifying to step into one of these things again. But I guess there's no experience like getting a soft pretzel and sitting in a massage chair at Brookstone until you're thrown out.
Let's say we meet back here under the glue outline of the old Limited sign.
And as seen in North by North Quahog, sometimes there are no words for when your buddy says something he shouldn't have, so you just gotta hit him with one of those looks.
This whole situation has just turned his whole life upside down face.
Look, you try sitting across from Jake Tucker and try not to let anything slip out. Besides, that's actually a pretty common expression. We've all been upside down faced at one point in our lives, right? But Stewie definitely encapsulates how we all feel when words simply can't illustrate our shock and disdain. That head tilt might be unique to him, though. Hope the kid has a good chiropractor.
God, I've really screwed myself up here. Listen, could you reach into my pocket and get the number for that acupuncturist?
And exercise bikes are gifts that sound good in theory, but as we see in Mr. Act, they either get misused or abandoned.
Are you ready to pedal so hard your periods go away?
Yes, it's not healthy, but it's convenient.
Sure, the idea of riding a bike from the comfort of your home sounds like it'd be fun, but just a few days on it and you remember why we invented automobiles in the first place. I get the appeal, but you also have to take into account that you gotta be real protective of your undercarriage if you're gonna try to mount one of these bad boys.
Ow! Ow! My balls! No, the other ones.
But just like the treadmill and elliptical machine before it, these things are often used for a few days and then quickly become the new designated spot to hang your laundry. Don't worry, all that matters is that you tried your best, and now you have yourself a $3,000 clothesline.
I used that Paddleton for 3 days. They said that was a world record.
I mean, the episode even ends in a PSA urging you not to buy one if you're not going to commit, further driving home just how common a thing this is. It's probably worth noting that I just looked over at the dumbbells sitting in the corner of my room and a single tear dripped down my face.
Before you buy one of these pieces of equipment, think about if it's gonna be better than watching Ozark.
And in keeping with the topic of exercise, Family Guy Light reflects a lot of the nonsense that comes with workout culture, like being told what you can and can't eat.
It's bad.
Hard to argue with those facts and logic. Eating healthy is definitely important, but swearing off certain foods without even knowing why you're doing it makes you look like your brain should be the part of your body needing the most exercise.
Haha. You know what? Isn't that? It's like, it's very bad.
What?
And being obnoxious about the food other people eat is half the battle of becoming a fitness nut. Because remember, it's not enough that you feel good. Everyone else must feel bad because of how good you feel. Healthy mind, healthy life. And when you become a husband, you start to see the world in a completely different way. Something Peter gets to show Brian after he gets married in Dead Dog Walking.
Wearing the ring also makes you wear giant khaki shorts with a belt and a lot of keys rattling around in the pockets.
At some point in your marriage, you just decide to lose all of your dignity and pride and start rocking some khaki shorts. But hey, when your wife asks you to carry her things because her pants still come with pockets, you're gonna look like the hero. A big, lame hero. There are a few other things you'll have to get used to when you're married, like being really into sheds.
You guys talking about sheds?
Hell yes, I love my sheds.
Me too.
High five on sheds.
Sheds!
You know, in a really into yard work kind of way, not in a psycho killer hideout kind of way. I think. I'm still trying to figure that one out. But being married is also about letting your true weight out since you don't have to worry about ever attracting someone again.
Every man's true weight is at least 20 pounds heavier than how they look. You know how much energy it takes to hold all that in?
Dang, I need to get Hitch stats so I don't have to go around sucking in and flexing all the time. I probably don't have to be doing that now, but I'm still waiting for the right shellfish to come along, and I gotta be on my looks maxing 24/7. And field trips are supposed to be a freeing time where you can let loose, but as seen in Live, Laugh, Love, that becomes exponentially harder when your mom is the chaperone.
Did somebody say cool mom with an Activia fanny pack?
I actually don't think that string of words has ever been spoken in any language until right now. And of course, Lois goes out of her way to traumatize Meg and Chris by either knowingly or unknowingly embarrassing them in front of their peers.
Okay, everyone, I've got candy. Everybody reach in, but just take one.
It's not like they even needed the help to ruin their reputation, but this goes beyond beating the dead horse and going straight to unloading on it with a rocket launcher. Some moms just want to be with it, but it's the sworn duty of every generation of teenagers to remind them to stay in their lane.
Why is everyone leaving?
'Cause you're lame and we don't want to be with you.
And we're not entirely sure what the deal is with old guys and their penchant for walking around locker rooms naked, but it must happen enough for the episode No Country Club for Old Men to let us peek into that disturbing world.
Clementine?
Oh, thank you.
Clementine?
None for me, thanks.
Clementine?
I wouldn't trust eating anything that comes out of that locker room. I know he probably had it in a lunchbox, but him walking around without any clothes on just makes me think that he's been keeping it somewhere else. Just further proof that communal showers were a mistake.
God, it's good to be old and nude.
And we all have that one guy in the group who just absolutely ruins the vibe whenever they're around, and as Believe It or Not Joe's Walking on Air shows us, there's a name for people like that, and it's Buzz Killington.
On the contrary, I've quite a mastery of the humorous yarn.
Okay, you probably don't know someone exactly like him, but you get the point. There's always a guy who just doesn't match the vibe and always kills whatever hype you had for at the time. But you can't kick them out of the friend group because you'll never know when you'll need them, like during a bear attack. Gotta have that one friend you can trip so you can get away.
Do you know why W.S. Gilbert was frequently drunk on his transatlantic crossings?
But what moment from the show do you relate to the most? Let us know down in the comments, and be sure to leave a like and hit the subscribe button if you liked what you saw here and want to see more.